fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that he took.
The problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only...
He did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of things that, if you really claimed to be cool with somebody, you would never say. That was my biggest issue with him. I just know that character can take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the actions he took there. The problem is that Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there are only certain fights that can generate that kind of money.
I had disliked a lot of things that he was saying, and how he was acting, being that, me, I'm a real individual. I just felt like, we was all cool at one point in time. And, when the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned and talked about and, signed, I just felt like he just did a lot of fake stuff and said a lot of stuff that, a person that you claim that you cool with, you would never say. So that was my big issue with him. I just know, character take you a long way, and I just don't agree with the character, actions that.
I just disliked a lot of the things he was saying and how he was acting, being that I'm a real individual. I felt like we were all cool at one point in time. When the Errol Spence fight was getting mentioned, talked about, and signed, I felt like he did a lot of fake stuff and said things that you would never say about someone you claim to be cool with. That was my biggest issue with him. I just know character takes you a long way, and I don't agree with the actions he took.
Sorry?
Should Crawford retire?
Do you know what? Someone said the other day, and it's very true, because I actually said it about Usyk. We've got a real tendency, haven't we, to kind of try and retire people off. Do you know what I mean? Like I said with Usyk, I think now he should retire. And everyone's like, why do you want him to retire? It's like, I just think it's a great way to go out. I actually also think that Crawford could move down and win a world title at 160. And that would make him, what, six division champ? 5, 35, 40, 47, 54, 6 division champion. But the problem is Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there's only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. So Shakur, who was obviously very close to him, seemed to say, so maybe.
Should Crawford retire? Someone said the other day that we have a tendency to try and retire people too early, and I think that's true. I said it about Usyk. People asked why I wanted him to retire, but I thought it was a great way to go out. I think Crawford could even move down and win a world title at 160, which would make him a 6 division champion. But the problem is that Terence Crawford now is really only going to want to fight for big money, and there are only certain fights that can generate that kind of money. Shakur, who was close to him, seemed to hint at that too. Maybe that's it.
I feel like Crawford, he could retire if he wants. I feel like if he does get another fight, I would love to see him in there with Virgil or Jerron. I feel like those are both great fights, but those are fights we just gotta see. We just gotta see those fights before. I feel like those are the only 2 fights I would entertain.
Not a rematch? Maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo?
I feel like it wasn't close enough. It wasn't close enough.
Really?
If it was close, maybe, but it just was like, it wasn't close.
I feel like Crawford could retire if he wants, but if he does fight again, I'd love to see him in there with Virgil or Jaron. Those are both great fights, but they're ones we just have to see. Those are the only 2 fights I'd really entertain, not a rematch. Maybe a rematch with Crawford and Canelo, but I feel like it wasn't close enough. If it had been close, maybe, but it just wasn't.
So yeah, everybody, so this is a good question that the ring put out. So Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Now, this is a really good question. Who will win between these two? Me personally, if this was old Floyd Mayweather, I'm going to say Pretty Boy Floyd, I'm talking about like the younger version of Floyd Mayweather wins. You're talking probably prime Floyd Mayweather versus prime Terence Crawford. You could see Floyd Mayweather beating Terence Crawford, but you're talking about money Floyd versus Terence Crawford. I see Terence Crawford stopping him in the later rounds due to Floyd Mayweather's passive style and Philly shell. I believe he'll melt. Terence Crawford would just break him, I think. People forget what Manny Pacquiao was able to do on Floyd Mayweather, have success with him certain parts of the fight, and people just need to see, Floyd Mayweather's, I would say, fights, later down the years. I think Crawford would just be able to break that defense. I don't know. The thing is about Terence Crawford, he has a very, very awkward style, very awkward foot movement, footwork. This is the thing. A lot of people were thinking, no, nobody beats Floyd. Or if you try to compare somebody else, no, this man will beat Floyd. Floyd would beat everybody. I don't think it's a case of Terence Crawford, everybody. I think Terence Crawford would have been the man to actually beat Floyd. Honestly, for what he did to Canelo Alvarez, he beat a 168 Canelo Alvarez. 168 Canelo Alvarez.
This is a good question that The Ring put out. Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather, a fantasy fight that will never happen. Who would win? Personally, if it was the old Floyd Mayweather, Pretty Boy Floyd, the younger version, he wins. Prime Floyd Mayweather versus Prime Terence Crawford, Floyd could win. But if it's Money Mayweather versus Terence Crawford, I see Crawford stopping him in the later rounds because of Floyd's passive style and Philly shell. Crawford would break him down. People forget what Pacquiao was able to do against Floyd in certain parts of their fight. Crawford has an awkward style, foot movement, and footwork that would give Floyd problems. Many believe Floyd beats everybody, but I think Crawford would have been the one to beat him, especially after beating a 168 Canelo Alvarez.
Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic of this video, and someone posted this: number of world champion fighters beaten, Floyd with 23, Terence with only 11. But my response to this is, being more accomplished does not mean you're better than someone. By example, Canelo has 18 former world champions beaten, Terence has 11. So you could argue that Canelo's more accomplished. Meanwhile, Terence just whooped him over the course of 12 rounds over the weekend. We all saw it. Plus, more accomplished fighters lose to lesser accomplished fighters all the time, so that's a bad argument. Let's talk skill for skill. Terence Crawford has knockout power in both hands. He can switch stances. He's not a stationary target. He has good footwork. He knows how to counterpunch. He knows how to fight on the outside and on the inside. He can make it dirty. He knows how to box and he knows how to fight. There's a difference. Guys like Shakur Stevenson, for example, they know how to box. When it comes to actually getting down and dirty, the jury is still out on one Shakur Stevenson, just by example. Terence Crawford, I think, if you look at the names on Floyd's list here, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Marcos Maidana, Cotto, and the list goes on and on, I think Terence Crawford has a shot at beating all those guys. I don't think anybody on that list jumps off the page and goes, oh my God, I think he smokes Terence Crawford. You can't say that about anybody on any of these guys' lists and names here. So yeah, that's my take on this, man. Maybe the only guy is Gennady Golovkin. I could see Gennady Golovkin giving Terence a really hard fight, especially at that weight. But remember, Canelo lost to Gennady. Gennady shouldn't even be on this list. He's only on the list because the judges are in Canelo's back pocket. So, that's a whole nother argument. But yeah, that's my take on this, guys. Skill for skill, Terence Crawford might be one of the best of all time, and that's okay. It's okay to accept that, guys. It's fine. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Just join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
Floyd Mayweather versus Terence Crawford is the topic. Someone posted that Floyd beat 23 world champions while Crawford has only 11. But being more accomplished doesn't mean being better. Canelo has 18, but Crawford just dominated him over 12 rounds. More accomplished fighters lose to less accomplished ones all the time. Skill for skill, Crawford has knockout power in both hands, can switch stances, has footwork, can counterpunch, fight inside or outside, and make it dirty. Shakur Stevenson knows how to box, but Crawford knows how to fight. Looking at Floyd's list, Pacquiao, Canelo, Cotto, Mayweather, Crawford could beat them all. No one on that list stands out as unbeatable for him. Maybe Golovkin at middleweight would be tough, but even that is arguable. Skill for skill, Crawford might be one of the best ever. And that's okay to admit.
To knock him out, you know what I'm saying? The size would be a factor. None of that was nothing.
How did you score it?
Huh?
How did you score the fight?
I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. About
Really?
3 rounds. Yeah, about 3 rounds. How did you score? You score about, sound about right?
What's that?
Sounds about right?
I had it closer, but there's loads of different scores.
Okay, 2 rounds.
You gave him 2 rounds.
I had 2 rounds. Yeah, he ain't do anything. I gave him a possible 3 rounds. So if I play space, we gave him 2 impossible.
Basically put him in the all-time list. 5-weight world champion.
Ooh.
3-weight undisputed, Terence Crawford.
Ooh.
Terence Crawford.
He's #1 right now. #1. This is his generation. This is his timeline. He is the king right now.
Just seen in the press conference, Canelo said that Crawford's better than Mayweather. What do you think?
He's not lying. He fought him. He should know. How can somebody tell somebody that fought both of these guys, he know.
Yeah.
If anybody would know, Canelo would know.
What do you think's next for both?
I don't know.
Too early? You like to rematch?
Not a rematch. Rematches always sound good. But in a rematch, it'd be the same thing.
Yeah. Cool.
Matter of fact, in a rematch, I'm predicting stoppage earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think?
Yeah, I think so.
What's up?
My boy's a dog.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Thank you.
The punch can knock him out. The size will be a factor, but it didn't matter. I think I gave Canelo about 3 rounds. Others gave him 2, maybe 3 at best. When you look at the all-time list, Terence Crawford, a 5-weight world champion and 3-time undisputed, is #1 right now. This is his era. He's the king. At the press conference, Canelo even said Crawford is better than Mayweather, and he would know he fought both. If anyone knows, it's him. A rematch sounds good, but I predict an even earlier stoppage next time.
In the ring with both of us, so a lot of people, they can say what they want, but he's actually been in the ring with both of us. One where he felt like he was at the best, and another where he felt like he was at a disadvantage when he had a rehydration clause and he was younger. So, I don't know, I don't go off of that. Floyd was the best fighter, in his era, and I feel like I'm the best fighter in my era.
One thing that I thought was really interesting about the fight, I always loved watching you switch stances as effortlessly as you do. You didn't do that a lot in this fight. You didn't have to. Were you expecting not to have to?
No, I felt like I could have, but why do something when something else is working?
Easy answer.
Interview 8. He was in the ring with both of us, so people can say what they want, but he experienced both. One fight, he was at his best, and another with a rehydration clause when he was younger and at a disadvantage. Floyd was the best in his era, and I feel I'm the best in mine. In the Canelo fight, I didn't switch stances much, but that's because I didn't need to. If something is working, why change it?
So if we remember, Canelo that time was a razor-thin decision. Floyd won, majority decision. C.J. Ross had it with what a lot of people had as a draw, and then the other 2 judges scored it for Floyd, of course. And that was a Floyd at the top of his game with a very green Canelo with very little experience, and he still took him, into deep water. So.
Yeah. What was Canelo? What, 20 something? 20 what? 23? 25?
Yeah, very, very young in the game, obviously.
Yeah, very young. He had more fights than Floyd, and he lost.
Yeah,
To a
but
man that was 30-something years old, 36.
Floyd was clearly at the top of his career, and Canelo had fought a lot of people, but he. But
How you at the top of your career in your prime? You in your prime? You ain't in your prime when you're at 36. That's not your prime.
did he lose? I mean,
Your prime is in your 20s.
it's different for different people.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, and that's why Canelo was saying what he's saying.
But I mean, don't you? I
To
mean,
make himself look like he did something great.
Canelo fought Floyd in a majority decision where one judge had it a draw. That was Floyd at his best against a very green Canelo. Even then, Canelo took him into deep waters. Canelo was around 23 or 25, still young. He had more fights than Floyd, but Floyd was 36, still at the top of his game. People argue about prime ages, but the truth is Canelo was still inexperienced. Floyd was great, but to say that was Canelo's prime isn't accurate.
Yes.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got in and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is, and you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those scorecards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But, I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. He's fought everybody, he's did everything. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence fair and square, and he passed the torch. So we're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
What fight were they watching? It made no sense. Some judges in this sport need to just turn in their licenses. There's no way that fight was close. Crawford dominated from start to finish, yet the scorecards made it seem like he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary. People say Canelo might not want a rematch after that kind of beating, but with those scorecards, he might. Honestly, I think Canelo is at a stage in his career where he doesn't need it. He's fought everyone, done everything, and he passed the torch to the right guy. A rematch would be fine, but unnecessary.
Terence Crawford versus Floyd Mayweather Jr. Who wins this fight? I'm going with Terence Crawford, and I don't think that's unpopular or crazy to say. I think most people will agree with me. I understand Floyd Mayweather has a lot of fans out there, but the truth is, as great as Floyd Mayweather is, Terence Crawford is one of one. And I say that because who else has knockout power in both hands, is able to switch stances between orthodox and southpaw so seamlessly while having great footwork? It's not like Terence Crawford is some stationary target or a flat-footed fighter that's going to be chasing Floyd around. Terence Crawford knows how to cut the ring off. He has tremendous ring IQ, and not only is he a great boxer, but he's a great fighter. He'll be able to make it dirty. If he is on the inside with Floyd, that power will carry him far, and I just don't see how Floyd will be able to beat a Terence Crawford. I really don't see it. I understand Floyd's defense is incredible, but he is smaller than Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford would have a significant reach advantage on Floyd Mayweather. I believe Terence Crawford would also be taller than Floyd Mayweather. as well as all the skillful and technical aspects of what I just laid out prior. So I don't understand how anybody could pick Floyd Mayweather to beat Terence Crawford. Styles make fights, and I believe Terence has the style to beat one Floyd Mayweather. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. Join the discussion, subscribe for more, and leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent. Thank you. You are all appreciated.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.